All right, so this is our series for the Agent First Summit. So on every summit, we have a different theme. Well, every month we have a different theme, and this theme for the
I'm
month,
sorry.
oh, this month for the month of July, we're talking all about AI. So this is the second session of our 5-part series, and I'll share my screen and share with you where we are at the moment. But this month, again, everything that we do is going to be AI based. So just to give you an idea, we do our Agent First Summits every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Central with the exact same link that you came in with. And if you're at a safe place to do so, turning on your webcams is going to just provide a different environment, different feel, different energy. So that would be very appreciated. If you want the notifications, this is my last little plug. If you want notifications on when we're going live, about 15 minutes before, just go to agentfirstsummit.com, opt in there, and you're going to get reminders of our sessions and on the days that I remember the recordings. So on this one, Carmel Homely Honest, let's go ahead and since I did press record, let's go ahead and send out the recording later on today. All right, so here is the roadmap that we're following for the month. Now, the way that we're doing our AI session is we're integrating and we're doing a bit of teaching, but we're really going to be implementing a kind of like a workshop style as we move forward. And you'll see what that looks like here in 2 seconds. But last week we talked all about saving time with AI. So there's different exercises that we went through. We're not going to repeat them. We're going to expand upon them. But last week it was just all about saving time. We needed to get into the AI flow. And in order for us to adopt something new, we need to find the time to do so, because I'm willing to guess that none of y'all have a spare 30 minutes, hour, 2 hours to adopt something new per day. So that's where we're leveraging AI to make time, create time for us to actually start in our AI implementation. So today, so the second session, we're doing AI for follow-up. Now, this follow-up is not just your traditional follow-up. There's some cool strategies, some cool software that we're personally experimenting with that we'll be implementing in our business. You're going to see what those are here shortly, but it's not just about follow-up. At the end of the day, it's more about conversion. So we're not following up for the sake of following up. Nobody wakes up thinking, hey, I want to follow up with 30 people today. No, our mindset is more like, I want to close 30 people today, right? I actually want to see results. So in hindsight, I probably should have labeled it something a little bit different, but it is more commonly understood, or people understand more of the topic if we say follow-up. So that's what we're going to be covering today. I'm going to share with you almost like from first principles what follow-up is going to look like, and then I'm going to give you the exact prompts to use in your own GPT. And I'll actually even share with you here as we get going, I'll share with you this exact page, so you don't even have to copy from the screen. You're able to copy directly from the notes that we're using here in my Notion page. And then next week, we're going to go into content creation. So I'm going to show you how to create content. I'm going to show you how to do that with face, without face, meaning you can actually record into the camera yourself, or I'm going to give you options on how to do this all automatically without you ever having to say a word. It's all going to be pretty cool. But there, just a little heads up, I mentioned at the intro of our series that I'm going to give you paid mechanisms, paid platforms, and free platforms. Most of your spend, if you're going to implement AI fully, is going to come here in the content creation of AI. If you're going to really fully be able be creating 100 pieces of content in a day without you ever having to say a word, this is where you're going to spend most of your money. So bring your credit card. I'm kidding. But anyway, this is all free. So it's something that if you want to go down the free route, I'll show you some versions that are going to be free, but primarily with the content creation, at least the scale that we're going to, it is going to require a bit of investment for the software to implement that. Then the following week, we're going to go into showings and CMAs. So show you how to organize your showings. As many of you work with buyers, going to show you how to organize your showings in such a quick way to where the prep is going to take you a fraction of the time with with buyers, and also show you how to do that with CMA for your sellers, for CMAs with sellers. And then at the end of it, we're going to tie it together and show you how to train your own real estate GPT, essentially your own real estate business, because your business is going to look radically different than Chris Vega's um, uh, business. She is more of the digital mayor and physical mayor. So basically, she has all the network. Anybody that's anybody in Victoria, Texas, know who Chris Vega is, and Chris Vega knows in turn as well. So she operates a radically different business than Franco, who is attracting buyers from all across the country. He gets 50 booked appointments per week through YouTube alone without having to spend an ad. Now, I give these examples because every single business, it just so happens that I know their business, is different. So this is why it's so important that you understand from the very beginning how to, build up to ultimately training your own real estate GPT for your real estate business, because it's different than everybody else's. Some of y'all make a killing from cold calling. God bless you. Some of you are only social media posting on Instagram, like Alejandra Palladino, a huge top producer in Arizona. Like there's just so many different avenues. So that's why we're structuring it the way that we're doing it. All right, so the acronym that I want you to just adopt when we're talking about AI, let's keep it simple, is AIM. So AIM with AI. So mindset, interaction, mastery. And what this means for us is there's really 3 rules to AI, at least how I teach it, the way that I understand AI and implementing it in our business. First, we're going with an AI mindset first. So we're looking at everything as an AI problem to solve. So whenever I'm thinking about how to structure my day, whenever I'm thinking how to better work with buyers, whenever I'm working through a seller problem on, hey, this listing, as many of us are experiencing right now, this listing is not selling right now. What can I do to get it sold? Right? So every single problem, I want you to view it through an AI lens. So it's an AI problem to solve every single thing that you can think of. So that's really one of the first principles that we want to adopt if we're going to really have meaningful success with AI. And the next one is interacting. So interacting by asking questions. The only skill set you need is to ask. That's the only skill set that you need to ask. Now, I'm going to give you prompts. You're going to see those exact prompts, but prompts, in my opinion, are overrated in the sense that you don't need to buy a packet of 100 prompts from somebody on YouTube that you saw that's selling you that for $1,000. That is the last thing that you want to do. What you're looking for is more to ask the platforms, these whether it's ChatGPT, whether it's Gemini, whether it's Claude, whatever large language model you're using, just use it. Just adopt it and really implement it into your business. But the only skill set that you're going to need is to ask. And at the end, once you have what you're looking to do, this is kind of where we go into training your own real estate GPT, create custom GPTs and scale your workflow. So once you have an answer that you like, that you want to use over and over again, such as the way that you're posting on social media, such as the way that you speak with buyers, how you do your presentations for sellers, how you make YouTube videos, how you respond to leads off of Zillow, how you operate your open houses, create a custom GPT and duplicate yourself. That's the end goal as we go. So AI exists all around, but I've done too much talking. Let's start working. I might have time and come back to this, but I want to get right into it. So first place I want us to start is optimizing your brand. Stronger brands convert more, command higher prices, and close faster. So I think you and I would both agree that a well-known producer that is known for being a top producer, known for being a closer, knowing what they're doing, is probably going to close a lot more leads than one that is new. I think that's a fair assumption. And the more that we convey that with our brand, and I'll be honest, whether it's true or not, let's pretend that it is, that we are that we are knowledgeable in what we're doing, the more that we convey that with our brand, the more that people are going to want to work with us, the more people are going to work with us. So what we want to start doing right now, this is the part of the exercise, is actually optimize our brand right now on things that we have. So some of you have built such a brand to where people are waiting in line to work with you. I'll bring back Franco as an example. There's folks that reach out to him that won't work with anybody else, even in his own team, unless they speak with Franco because of the brand that he has built around YouTube, the 25 million views that he's gotten on YouTube, and the 150,000 subscribers that he has on his platform. Right. So there's power in that brand. Now, do you have to go out and build a 100K subscriber channel? No. But what you can do right now, every single one of you, is re-optimize the way that you show online right now, the way that you're seen online. So the prompt that I want you to adopt, and we're going to do this in real time, is I want to be the local go-to realtor in, let's call it, last week we used Santa Fe. Let's go to Tulsa, Oklahoma for today's example. Tulsa. I want people to call me ready to do business. So what can you ask me? Oh, so what can you ask? Oh, sorry. Can you ask me? I forgot to change that out. Can you ask me some questions you need for me in order for me to optimize my online brand, my brand online? I want to add persuasive sales copy to my personal website. And then you're going to put your website there. So it's not going to make sense, but I'll just put Tulsa.com. It's not going to make sense, but just for the sake of this example, Zillow profile, brokerage website, blah, blah, blah. So what questions do you need answered to create great copy about my background, experience, and why? So let's talk about why this is going to work. This prompt follows a principle that we talked about earlier. So one, it's an AI problem to solve. I need to recreate my brand. And two, interacting by asking questions. So the only skill set that I need is to ask it to ask me, basically. So what's going to happen now is we're going to go over to ChatGPT, and we're just going to put that in. And now what it's going to do is going to start asking me a few questions that it needs for context, because it's not going to know everything. Now, if you've been users of ChatGPT forever and for always since 3 years ago, great. It's going to know a lot about you. It's going to know about your different businesses. So it will pick up on that. But if you're a newer adopter or just use it every once in a while, this is one very quick way for you to train it to know you a lot better. So here it's asking you flat out, hey, why did you get into real estate? As if you're being interviewed, because you are. What do you love most about helping people buy or sell? What makes you passionate about serving the Tulsa area specifically? Have you overcome any personal blah, blah, blah? Authority and experience. So how long have you been in real estate? So some of y'all have been in there for 10, 20, 30 years, and some of you have been in it for 12 seconds, and that's okay. It's going to craft the persuasive copy that we're looking for. And I'm not going to read through these, every single one of these, because that's not the highest and best use of our time today. I want to show you where we start, which again, going back to the principles of asking questions. So here you're asking it to ask you questions, and now you're just going to answer the questions. So what I'm going to do, just to accelerate this, the best way that I'm not going to answer each one of these. I'm just going to do something that you shouldn't do, because this is an exercise for you. But what I'm going to do is, can you fill in the most common now let's say the best answers to each one of these questions? I'm just going to ask it to basically answer its questions that would feel is best. Now it is going to give me a little bit of a different feel, because a bit of a different response, because I do use ChatGPT quite a bit. So it's going to probably pull in information that I've given it to it in the past whenever I was preloading it for my real estate business. But at the end of the day, it's going to go in here and give it its best shot. So for you, when you spend the time, this should take you 30 minutes or so. When you spend the time to load it up with your answers, you're going to get a much better version than what we're probably going to get here today. So we're answering the questions. Now, here again, the main thing here that I want to illustrate is don't do this. This is just for our purposes so we can get to the answers a lot quicker and go through the entire rebranding much faster. All right. So I'm going to wait for it to keep going. It's going to have all that fun stuff. So the following prompt that I'm going to give it is basically I want it to give me, I want it to give me a copy and paste answer or a copy and paste description of what needs to go onto my website. Now, I should probably not skip this, but please read it. Please read whatever it gives you back. If you don't agree with whatever it's giving you, of course, you can edit it and you can work on specific parts. So as an example, just to give you an idea of how to train it a little bit better. Unique value. Let's just say you don't agree with unique value. Let me show you real quick. I don't. So let me just in case it takes over, I do like AI takes over. I do like to be kind to it. Great job. However, I do want to work on the unique value a bit more. I'm not sold on it. So I don't even have to give it the feedback or direction that I want. It will get to the answer a lot quicker the more feedback that you give it. But you're seeing that it's taken another shot in the dark here. It's giving you the trusted strategist angle, the systems-based pro. That would probably be me, to be honest. The market insider, that would not be me at all. But it gives you different angles that you can approach it that it thinks would be valuable in this particular case. Now, keep in mind, I didn't answer any of these. I'm just basically playing hard to get and giving it some challenging prompts, if you will. So I would just say, great. Let's go with option 3. That's better, a better representation of me. And then there it goes and rewrites it. Anyway, just want to give you a quick little, this works on everything that it produces, whether you're looking to rebrand, whether you're looking to write a newsletter, you can isolate the area that you don't agree with, and then it's going to give you different options to work from. So now I just recreated it. Now, again, I'm not going to spend any time reading it myself because we got to get through the exercise. But what happens next is we allow it to help us even more. So now, great job. Can you give me the copy matching character limit to each bio? If you give me the website URLs to them, that would be helpful as well. So I can see where you, oh, I left that in where you're wanting to post. So this one, we're going to pretend this where you want to introduce your website. So let's just put Tulsa.com. Brokerage website. Let's just say realtor.com. You're going to put your brokerage website / your profile, wherever your profile is. So it's Jaime-Resendez. That might even be one. I don't know. And then your real estate association. So you would just link those up. So Metrotex. And then most likely Metrotex has your profile, something like this, or wherever it is that your profile is. You're just trying to give it some additional intel to the best of your abilities, and then include the third-party sites. So here's Zillow, Homes.com, any other third-party sites that allows you to input your information. I would include Trulia, but Trulia takes everything that you put on Zillow and it pushes it over there anyway. So for our purposes today, I don't know if these are gonna work that well because I just made them up, but we're gonna try it. So now it's working on my personal website, which it believes is Tulsa.com, but yours would be, so I have several domains. So one is JaimeArsenis.com. That's more marketing. It's not necessarily real estate. So I didn't want to introduce that and ultra confuse it. I also have the DFW homeowner group. That's our real estate team, our production team here. And I also have the agent first group, which is the network of agents that we have within our brokerage here. But anyway, all that to say is it would go into these, if this was a real website, it would go into realtor.com and find your profile, and it would scrape that information to see a little bit more about character limit. You're trying to help it as much as you can. All right, so third-party websites. So here you have Zillow, Realtor.com, Redfin, Homes.com. And then it adopts, like, look at the difference. The biggest breakthrough for me was on the social media whenever we went through this. It adopts basically the strategy or the essence of Instagram. As you see, this is this is basically an Instagram bio, right? So LinkedIn, it adapts to the LinkedIn persona. TikTok, I don't play too much in TikTok, so I'm guessing that it is going to do the same thing, and same thing with Twitter, Facebook. So all you have to do is just copy and paste now. Questions on this? Now, again, I just don't want to, I know I glossed on it. I glossed over it, but here's the real big principle here. I know that this is follow up, and I'm going to show you the ways that you can follow up through AI a lot quicker and in many cases automatically. But the conversion starts from the moment that you get found, the way that you show up on brand, right? If you convey an experience online, you're in trouble. If you can't be found online, that's terrible, right? So if you are going through the hard stuff of doing direct prospecting, like cold calling, and you're using your cell phone number, well, the number one thing that people that ignore your phone call at the beginning, the number one thing that they're going to do is they're going to Google that phone number that you called them from. So if nothing shows up, you're not getting a call back. If something less than ideal shows up whenever they paste that number onto Google, or in the very near future, ChatGPT, you're in trouble. But if something incredible, let's call it the Lululemon brand. I don't know if what you think of Lululemon or not, but I've become a fan lately. um, whatever perception they have of your brand is going to dictate, especially if it's a cold outreach that they received, it's going to dictate if they give you a call. So again, once you get found, what type of brand are you conveying? What type of aura, as the kids say, are you projecting there? All right, so that is more marketing. This is more marketing. This is part of your conversion strategy. This is part of your follow-up brand. So if as an example, if the same lead were to opt into a Franco funnel and a Jaime funnel, I can guarantee you that they would pick up the Franco call way more often, much faster than one of my calls because of the brand disparity. Optimizing your time. So optimizing your time is basically a little bit of a drawback. I mentioned at the beginning of our series that we would be doing a little bit of building on each element. So in the past, we were talking about time and time saving. So I wanted to talk a little bit about optimizing your time here for your conversion strategy. This is this is where you're kind of combining your personal, your work, the business that you have, the business that you don't have, and really just trying to make sense of it. Because the worst thing that you can do is wake up in the morning and try to wing it. Full disclaimer, I do that a lot. But with that being said, that is a fault of mine that I am, with the help of AI, I am improving on daily. So I'll give you a real life example. So there's just something that I'm in the family that I'm trying to work through with my parents, like with their health, and like ChatGPT just helped me organize. All right, so we can look at a hospital here, we can look at nurse situations here, we can look at this to store all the medical data. This is where we could, like, it just compile a complete breakdown on what needs to happen next. Right. So, and it's that's one way to leverage it. That's going to help you in your business, because the more that you can focus on your business, the more that's going to grow. But anyway, I think I'm beating the point here. So optimizing your time. So here's the prompt that we're looking at. I want to be extremely productive and generate at least, let's call it 5 clients this week. We want to get 5 clients this week. What questions do you have for me in order to make that happen? Note, I do have a list of things I currently have that I want to give you, so you can factor that into your prioritization. I will give you the list in. If you are this is where I really want to, actually 2 things. Let me share this with you right now so y'all can start working on it. All right, in the chat, all you'll have to do is click on it. There's no opt-in. I have nothing to sell you. Just click on that and duplicate it for yourself. I dropped it into the chat. You're going to see my notes. And if you want to have access to this, at the very top, I believe, I think it's this. Give me a second. At the very top, you should be able to say duplicate. If you don't have a Zoom, what happened on camera? If you don't have a Notion, it'll ask you to opt in, but you won't need it. But if you don't have a Notion, you can create a Notion. It's free. That way you can leverage it. But what happened to my camera? Give me a second.
Questions I may.
Yeah.
For this, we can just go on our Notion and say duplicate, and you will duplicate to our Notions.
Correct.
Okay.
Right. All you have to do is hit duplicate, and it's kind of like Google Drive. It'll
Okay.
save onto your Notion.
Okay. Thank you.
So now that you have this prompt, what I want to illustrate here is the following. If you are the calendar people, God bless you, you're really good. And what I mean by that is your calendar, everything into you put everything into your calendar, your appointments, your time blocking, your whatever you're doing throughout the day. If there's not a single white space in between your calendar, you're doing fantastic. If that is you, go down the calendar route. Download your calendar. I just gave you some very simple Google Calendar links, and I'll show you my example. I'm terrible at it, and you're going to see me get humbled by ChatGPT in 2 seconds. But if you are the calendar person, go down the calendar route, and you'll see what that means here shortly. If you are not the calendar person, just list out the things that you are responsible for, that you're trying to do. Let's just say I want to pick up the laundry. I want to do this open house. I want to go to church. I want to do whatever it is that you want to just list out, just really brain dump into it. You're going to get a space for that here with ChatGPT shortly. So I'm just going to start from scratch real quick. So I want to be extremely productive and generate at least 5 clients this week. What questions do you have for me in order to make that happen? And then here, I'm just going to say, because I'm going to suspect that most of you are going to be providing a list. I will give you the list in list form. Or, yeah, whatever that, it'll understand what I'm saying. All right, so we're going to click that. Now, going back to our present principles of interacting with questions, the only skill set that you need is to ask. That's the only thing that you really have to master. Even the prompts that I'm giving you, I mentioned it at the beginning, the prompts are really not that big of a deal. I'm giving those to you as so you see them, so it's super easy for you to adopt. But in reality, again, the prompts are not the biggest thing, in my opinion, in the sense that you don't need templated prompts. You, in your own words, can share what you're trying to accomplish. All right, so it's asking all these questions, right? So to build a tailored plan that makes sure you hit 5 clients this week, I need clarity on the following. What qualifies as a client? It doesn't even assume that. That's fantastic, right? So is it somebody under contract? Is it somebody who books a consultation? Is it somebody who signs a buy rep agreement? Is it somebody that signs a listing agreement? It's so phenomenal. Are these buyers or sellers both? Do you have a preference on focus? Lead and flow, current pipeline. How many new leads are you getting each week? How many warm, hot leads do you already have? How many appointments? So it's essentially asking, what assets do you currently own? Right. So if you're more established like Brock, like I'm going to guess that his database is substantial. So ChatGPT is going to be able to hone in on that and draw his attention to what he already has in hand. If I just got started into the business, would probably just say, hey, pound the phones, like do something, meet people. But for those more established folks, it's going to draw upon that time and capacity. How many hours per day can you realistically dedicate to lead generation follow-up? Right. So it's asking for some additional information that's going to be valuable for it. What tasks are you doing yourself and what is delegated to ISAs or teams? So as an example, with me, I have a team of about 23 full-time team members that do that help me with the business. Right. So for me, I'm able to move a little bit quicker because I have leverage, marketing and conversation. So you have all this other stuff, right? So I'm not going to go through and answer each one of these, but just this is a prompt that's going to help you get started on the optimizing of your time. But here again, goes back to the principle. If you see on this little verb right here, as long as you include in your prompt something for it to ask you questions, that's going to draw out better responses. That's the number one thing that I want you to get from here. And the more thoughtful that you are with your questions, your responses, the better it's going to be. And just refine what comes out. So once I went through this exercise, remember, I went down the calendar route. I went down the calendar route because it sees in real time what I currently have and what I don't have. And here's what it did to me. So it says strengths, client-facing blocks like calls, masterminds, property showings are scheduled in. So I've been okay at doing that. And you can continue improving on this, but this is just gave me a really good snapshot. It's like a balance sheet for my time on what assets I have and what my liabilities are. Recurring sessions. So again, it's some strengths, wide variety of work, sales, content. So here's starting to prep me for the humbleness. So lack of themed time blocks. So tasks like lead gen, content planning, editing review, deep work are scattered or missing. Ouch. Inconsistent prospecting time. So that's a fancy way of saying you don't schedule prospecting. Isn't visible in any daily block as a daily block. No CEO strategy time. There's little evidence of scheduled reflection, systems planning, or business growth. Scattered meetings. So it just gives me a good balance sheet to start from. And then you can, when I say refine, once I get this response, once you upload your calendar, you're able to basically come back up here and introduce what you're wanting to do for the week. But this gives you a real life feedback, a real life snapshot, a real life audit. You don't need somebody behind you seeing what you do every single day. So there are people for highly compensated positions, CEOs, executives that pay folks to follow them around to audit their time. This cuts all of that. So you see real time what's currently happening with your day. So it doesn't need a guess. Any questions on that? This was more personal, so I'm not gonna spend too much time on it, but I just wanted to give you a quick way for you to optimize your time. Um, and like if you had a list of things to do, once you answer the questions, you would just put those list of things because you gave it a prompt to do so, that you would be doing that of the things that you want to accomplish for the week, that might interfere with the game plan that is gonna that it's gonna get for you. All right, so let's go to the follow-up. So this is what most folks, whenever they think of AI, that's where they gravitate towards. But I wanted to up-level this slightly to give you more of a branding strategy, more of a marketing strategy to where the sales begin at the front end, the moment that somebody lays eyes on you. And then I wanted to give you a bit of a time-saving component so you can optimize your time, so you can follow up more, convert at a better clip without having to guess, and right on cue. Well, we're not gonna have time, but I asked the AI to call me, and it did right now. That's actually going to voicemail. But they've been so perfect. They've been so perfect. Anyway, hyper personalized follow up. Let's talk about the follow-up component. So right now, the way that we do follow-up is probably we're calling people back. We're probably texting people back, probably emailing people back. We might be meeting somebody in person. We might be Zooming, whatever the case may be. There's an element of us having to touch back up with somebody that reached out to us about buying or selling. So there's an element of following up. But as we know, most of our follow-up goes to voicemails. Most of our follow-up goes to unresponded text. Most of our follow-up goes to not excuses, objections. There's some complexity to the follow-up. Now, before we would have just these canned templated, if we thought ahead, we would just have these templated responses that we would use if somebody gives me an objection, if somebody adds this, that, or the other to my to the objection list, I guess. But now we can personalize our follow-up. So here, I'm going to give you two different ways to do it. One is going to be through the copy and paste. This is the manual way. This is basically free outside of the ChatGPT platform that outside of the AI LLM that you're using. And I'm also going to give you the automated. I guess I'll go into the automated ones. If you want for somebody to follow up, somebody to qualify your leads, somebody that will essentially become your inside sales agent, there's two that I would recommend. I would use Structurally or Ylopo. Who just called me right now that went to voicemail was Structurally. So it's an automated tool. It's an AI tool that will answer phones, that will follow up with your leads, and it does. Ylopo, in my opinion, sounds a little bit more human than Structurally. But just to give you an idea, these are not free. These are far from free, but these are. I think Structurally right now is like 500 leads that it will follow up with at, I think it's like $1,000 a month. Ylopo is a little bit less expensive. I think it's $500. I don't remember what their amount of leads, like there's a limit here. It's not unlimited. So this is you're going to want to do your own research. This is something that I just want to introduce you to these concepts or these platforms, but know that this is that paid version that I was referencing at the beginning. There's ways for you to not have to do any of this that I'm going to show you manually. And there's also a middle way if you have virtual assistants, if you have ISAs, where you can create the prompts. So going back to the mastery component of our 3 rules, making a custom GPT that your VAs can click on every single time, so they get the response, a appropriate response every single time. But basically, the prompt that I'm gonna ask it is, I'm trying to essentially come back with the perfect response or an idea, a persuasive response to a lead that has just given me all of these objections. Right. So we get those objections all the time, whether it's I'm going to wait until the interest come down. I'm going to I don't want to sell right now because I don't know what I'm going to buy with the prices. So I'm going to wait for the prices to come down. So you don't have to start from scratch every single time. Here, the prompt, although we're going to run out of time, so I'll just show you the prompt real quick. But basically, it goes back to the same concept that I mentioned earlier, asking it to ask you, right? So I'm essentially prompting it to say, hey, I'm about to send you some the back and forth that I'm having with a client. And then before that, I want you to ask me questions so you have better context. So you know what's driving these responses. And then after that, after I answer all of your questions, I want you to give me a text message that I can send to them. And I want you to give me a script that I can record a 20 to 30-second video that I can respond with. So I became very hyper focused, very hyper personalized with my response. So here, yes, I can help you craft both a text response and a natural video script that is helpful, not pushy, and nudges the buyer in the right direction. Before you send the exchange, please answer these questions so I have full context. So again, this is just all in plain English. Here's my situation. I'm going to give you this information, but first ask me a few questions, and then I want this result. So then it's asking me, who's the buyer? Pretty important. What type of home are they looking for? What's their timeline? Have they been pre-approved yet? What originally motivated them to reach out? Anyway, so all the other questions that it needs. Now, once you go through and respond to these questions, and we'll copy and paste if you have your if you have a voice over IP phone number, which I recommend, you can just copy and paste from the exchanges that you've had. So let me see if I can. This one is one that I probably should have done some quick research on, not research. I should have pulled an example ahead of time. I'm not going to have it. But anyway, having a voice over IP, and when I say by that, but when I say that, I mean having a phone line that you can easily just copy and paste from. Now, you can, of course, download your texts. You can, of course, copy and paste all of your emails, go over and get all your DMs. But for me, the speed is a little bit quicker. So I or my team can come into either my office line or the primary office line and get all of the conversations that we've had in the past and just have a response ready for whenever a objection gets presented. So on this one, again, I'm going to have to fail you on it, unfortunately, but I want to show you the strategy on the back end where every single objection that you're getting, as long as you can either get the transcript or have the text or are getting an email, all you have to do is just copy and paste the responses into ChatGPT, and it's going to produce to you a result. Now, if you want to bypass all of this altogether to where you don't have to do this manually, or one of your team members doesn't have to do this manually, then I would suggest that you go ahead and explore Structurally or Ylopo, because for my opinion, those are the two in my research that have been the best of with the voice, with the prompts, with the responses, to where you don't have to recreate any of this. with the understanding that it is you're talking about several $100s worth of ad spend. I'm sorry, several $100s worth of software spend that right now you essentially you don't have. Any questions on this? Was this helpful?
Yeah, it's very helpful. Since you did um the Zoom last week, I didn't go into detail like you did today, but I have been play with ChatGPT. So I went in my LinkedIn, I copy and paste my LinkedIn page, and then it gave me the exact breakdown the way you are showing it. And it rewrite my header, my headline, and it tell me how to improve. And since I did that, I did it Thursday, and I can see a big improvement on the responses that I'm getting on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn and Google has always been my favorite platform. So I'm following step by step what you are showing us, and I'm getting a lot of not only view, but the responses is that it's surreal. I got like listing appointment on my page schedule, which was kind of never happened. So I'm pretty happy. I'm
Well,
excited on how you breaking down this.
that's awesome. That's awesome. All righty. Well, we are going to close it out then. So quick reminder, we have a 5-part series. Next week, we're going to talk about content creation. I'm going to show you the way to do content creation through AI. It's going to be a combination of text, so essentially posts, a combination of image creations, combination of video creation. So I'm going to really show you how to amplify your content creation to where you can create 100 pieces of content in a day pretty easily. This one, here again, I'm going to brace you. If you thought this was expensive, with these platforms, just get ready. This one does get pricey. However, if you look at it as an investment here, because it should be, you don't have to staff up to, as mentioned, I have 23 23 folks full time here. But we operate as 75. We operate as 80 people because we are AI minded first. So if you just think about the 3 rules, just AI mind first, interact with questions, and then make it yours. So creating custom GPTs, you'll be able to amplify your business a lot quicker. Then after that, we're gonna do showings in CMA on CMAs, and then show you how to train your own real estate GPT from beginning to end. So you can have a fully functional working, essentially think of it like real estate coach, marketing coach, therapist, everything. I'm gonna show you how to import everything from PDFs, all that other stuff. It's gonna be fun. Alrighty, crew, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Carmel, please keep me honest. Let's send out the recording later on today.
Hi,
But
before you go, I was gonna ask, are you gonna go over AI, how to set up our phone for those calls?
set up the phone.
Yeah, because of those call we are getting with AI, and then we talk to somebody. I kind of like listen when those people call me. I kind of like listen, and then I can tell it's AI. But are we gonna go over that or no?
Probably not, because it is going to take a little bit of finagling. And at this point, I personally won't be going after my own phone AI. I'm just going to go with structurally myself. So I'm just going to be candid with you. I'm probably going to, not probably, I am going with structurally myself and fully implement that. If I find a better workaround, then yeah, I'll show you. But right now, I think there's an AI that's doing it way better than I could. So I'm just going to leverage that.
Oh, okay then. Thanks.
Yeah. Alrighty. Will you send out recordings? I didn't record last week's, Robert, so that's on me.
I won't be here for the last one. I'm gonna be out of town, so I was curious if you're gonna be recording that one, how to train your
Yes.
GPT.
Yes, if you go
I
to
really want to see that. Yeah.
agentfirstsummit.com, so agentfirstsummit.com and opt in there, that's the only place we send out recordings.
Okay.
So agentfirstsummit.com, if you just opt in there, it'll be again, I'll send you reminders and also send you the recordings.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. All righty. Well, I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all so much. See y'all next week for content creation. Bye.